Merry Christmas, legends, and in today's video I'll be giving you a full in-depth guide on how to play Caustic, aka Gas Daddy.
My methods are only controversial to those who lack imagination.
Now we have to first talk about his playstyle. Caustic thrives in tight spaces like buildings. So if you're just starting off with Caustic, I suggest you learn how to keep enemies from coming into your building and how to keep enemies locked up in a building. And if you're a more experienced player, you can even learn how to take up spaces in open areas. There are two different ways to secure a door. I'll be talking about that a little later on in the video. But basically with Caustic, you wanna create an area that the enemy will not be able to easily access, and even if they do access it, you should be able to punish them in the process. Now for his passive Nox Vision, allows you to see enemies through gases, and you're also not affected by any other caustics. So there's nothing I can say about this ability that's new or fancy, it just does what I just described. So we'll move on. Now for his tactical Nox gas trap, it's infamous for blocking doors, and there are two different ways you can do this. The first method is throwing the trap in the middle of the door. This is good for blocking doors so that enemies do not pass through it, and it's also great for trapping enemies in buildings. The second way you can use this trap is by throwing them next to the door. That way the enemies won't be able to see it and they'll just blindly walk through it. When the enemy walks through the door, the trap will activate and it'll be too late for them to do anything. That's when you have an opportunity to beam them down. Now let's talk about trap placement. Now when you're in a building as a Caustic, your job is to take up as much space as possible and leave no room for the enemies. You'll also want to place your traps around corners so that the enemies do not expect them. When you place down your trap, it'll make quite a loud noise, so they'll be expecting it. As a defensive legend, your job is not to push, so you have to wait for your teammates to push the enemy or maybe get a knock so that you can capitalize it with your ultimate. You can also use these traps as a smoke, just place them down, shoot them, and it'll create cover for you to either heal or revive your teammate. These traps can be destroyed almost immediately by Fuse's tactical and can be completely destroyed by Mad McGee's ultimate. Caustic is at his weakest when he's in open areas. So when an enemy catches you in an open area, your number one objective should be to close down the distance, as well as throwing your traps down for cover. Now for his ultimate Nox Gas Grenade. In my opinion, this is one of the best ultimates in the game. This ultimate can be used both offensively and defensively. You can use this ultimate to clear out enemies who are in a small building. It's also completely okay to use this ultimate as a panic button for when you're in tight situations. It's better you use it and stay alive than not use it and die. Like I said before, Caustic is at his weakest when he's in open areas, so if you're caught out by an enemy when you're in an open area, throw down your gas grenade, or if the enemy is in gas grenade range, you can throw it towards them in order to flush them out. Let's say you get a knock and you wanna push but you can't because that wraith is busy pinning you down. Don't be afraid to throw your Nox grenade towards the enemy. Those are the types of moments that it was made for. Basically, there are three different scenarios that this ultimate is good for. When pushing enemies, when creating a restricted area to cut off the enemy, when enemies are aggressively pushing your building. Now when it comes to loadout, we're looking for something that will do a lot of damage within a short amount of time. So we're gonna go for a shotgun, and I suggest you use the EVA 8. Now we need another weapon for mid to long range fighting, and I suggest an LMG, either the Spitfire or the Rampage. With team comp, Caustic is pretty slow, so you want a movement legend to complement him, preferably Octane, Wraith, even Pathfinder. You will also want a defensive legend to complement his defensive playstyle, preferably Watson or Catalyst. Now that's it for me. If you like this video, please like and consider subscribing. If you have any thoughts or any more tips and tricks, please write them down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.